Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Move TV with myself, Graham Cove, hosting. And today I'm going to be speaking to Liam, who's coming all the way from...
At the minute, I'm on the Wirral, but based over in Liverpool normally.
There you go. Depends which side of the water, doesn't it, really? You see? Yeah, there we go. But I am very, very impressed, Liam. Let's start off with this. I'm impressed by the fact that you've come on Move TV today and you've managed to pick a background or a room even with matching paint colour for our logo. That's actually really very impressive. But I see you've got a little bit of purple in there as well. Explain the purple and the relevance of purple to you.
Well, to be honest, it's weird. So I can't claim any credits for the background. I've actually come over to my mum's house, who's not actually here yet. But when she comes, I might ask her where the greens come from and where the purples come from. The purple obviously reflects the Quirky Digital logo, and the green seems to be reflecting, the Move logo as well. So perfect settings. Yeah, couldn't have picked anywhere better.
What's your business journey then? So where did you start in business?
So it's weird. It's I actually started the company just before COVID, but that's when I actually started Quirky Digital. Prior to actually starting a business, was it was very young age. So it was probably maybe 17, 18 I was, and I was working for small businesses, a small digital agency, and I was pretty much from the beginning involved with business. So whether it was shadowing my boss at the time in meetings, there were times where I was actually taking sales meetings myself. There were times where I was actually going into meetings with some of the biggest hotel chains in the whole of the UK, actually talking about SEO and the work that we were doing. And I think that's where I got the taste for it, to be honest. And I thought, I do want to definitely be doing this for myself one day. Obviously wasn't ready at the time, but as my experience grew in the obviously in the industry, I got to the age of 22, and that's when I started the company and thought I'll give it a go. What actually happened was,
I was going to say, it's interesting that your boss put you in that position. If you personally yourself said, I don't think I was ready for it.
To be honest, I was thrown in the deep end, and at the time I was obviously very, very nervous about it, but he obviously believed in me, and he always used to, he got me involved in with personal development, self-development at quite a young age. So I did have confidence, maybe on the outside, but on the inside I was nervous. But if anyone gave me a challenge, I'd do it, regardless of how I felt on the inside.
And then so what was it that prompted you to go it alone?
Yeah, so since then I was working at another agency where we were working with some massive clients really, and doing a really good job for them. And I just obviously grew in confidence, and I felt like I was spending quite a lot of time outside of the 9 to 5, working on my own projects, where I'd set other websites up there, were ranking on Google, generating some revenue for myself. And I thought I'd like to just do this all the time. I was obviously passionate about it. I was willing to work really hard. And to be honest, at the time, I was actually still living here with my mum and my stepdad. And I had the conversation with them and just said, I feel like starting my own company. And I was expecting them to say I was a little bit crazy, because I was on a really good salary at the time. And they actually just pushed me to do it. They said, if anything goes wrong, then we'll financially support you, which, I couldn't say no then. And then went into work and handed me notice in, and worked about 6 or 7 weeks of me notice, and lockdown happened.
It sort of drew the shutters on a lot of things for people, didn't it? So let's come back to you and your business, and some of the things that you learned starting up your own business in a bit. Let's start with what it is that you actually do, because I know a lot of people watching who will hear the words all of the time, sort of Google, SEO, website analytics, all of that sort of thing, will go, yeah, I hear it and I know that it's important, but I don't really understand it one iota. How do you explain it to people in a nutshell?
Okay, yeah, it's to be honest, it is a very difficult one, because it probably, when I started the company, I was trying to sell SEO to people, and nowadays it is like people are coming to us for SEO. So people are actually searching for the services. So they have a general understanding. When we do have them scenarios where, let's say, if I'm meeting someone at a networking event and they don't really know much about it, I basically explain it in a way where it is the process of ranking a website at the top of the Google organic searches. So let's say keep it on topic. So obviously CAF was on prior to me. So let's say if someone was to type in on Google, low carb wine as an example, it'd be the process of getting their website to the top of Google for them searches. Obviously not just that search, but anything to do with it. So it could be brand awareness as well. So it could be how many calories are in a bottle of wine. So it might be people that are health conscious. So it's actually understanding not just people that are searching for products, but the thoughts that are in people's minds before they realize they want to make the purchase. And what we do is we go away, create content for the websites that actually fulfill the needs of one, the user, and two, Google as well. And to be honest, that's the main part of what we do at Quirky Digital. But there are also other parts of it as well, which is it's building trust with Google. So it's link building, digital PR, which is actually creating interesting stories that newspapers and bloggers will link to, which allows Google to trust our website. And then there's the technical side of SEO, which is becoming very, very difficult. Google are making lots and lots of changes, but we're staying ahead of the curve on it. So it's the actual process of making sure that everything on your website can be read by Google, not necessarily the user.
Oh, you're having to do a lot of late night reading there. I mean, do you think one of the things that puts people off about that whole area is that, if they've ever built a website themselves and they've gone to one of these kit builder website areas or whatever, there's normally an option, isn't there, in the corner where it says, buy good SEO. You pay this per month and we'll push you up the rankings, and that's all that you need to do. And most of us with any common sense sit there and go, well, it can't be that easy. There's no how can I possibly pay £15 a month extra or whatever and get to the top of Google? That's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that does make things difficult for people in the industry who are trying to do it properly. So what you'll find is with them website builders, I'm not going to mention any names, but they will make assumptions that they can rank your website for them low cost. And to be honest, there are businesses which are similar to ourselves that do the same thing, that will actually give people prices on what the SEO should be before actually understanding what the business's goals are. So I mean, anyone could, if I wanted to rank a website for, let's say it was a Move, it was a Move hoodie, a green variant of it, that's a specific brand. It'd be very easy to do something like that because there won't be that much competition. But if it was, if it was just a green hoodie as an example, it's a completely different goal. You're coming up against completely different competitors. So people are wary about stuff like that. And the way we obviously price SEO is based on the level of output that needs to go into it. And generally, the more competition means the more level of output that's required. So it does make things difficult, but I think the types of clients that we're working with do understand that and are willing to pay for a specialist service.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as you say, part of it's about, producing content that's specific to an area and actually, having material that's specific to an area as well. I mean, I'm generally quite pleased when I see things like my specialist ergonomics show getting quite high rankings, etc. But then it's not unusual, is it? Because it's a very specific niche. And if you say, well, I'm doing a podcast on ergonomics and it covers this over here, there's very few people doing that, to be honest. So actually you're gonna get high up in the rankings. But say you say, well, I sell mugs or I sell orange socks, suddenly you're up against everybody, right?
Yeah.
So it's the less niche it is, the less specific it is, it's going to be more difficult for you to get anywhere near the top, right?
That's right. I mean, don't get me wrong, Google does like, special niches. So, probably over the past couple of years, what you'll find is more and more you'll actually see niche websites ranking above, Amazon, eBay, them types of websites, because Google knows that if there's a whole website dedicated to a really small niche, then the user is going to find what they want there. Whereas if, let's say, if it is like someone types in green mugs and they go onto Amazon, they're going to have thousands and thousands of different options, but it's not necessarily going to be, the best experience for them. There's not going to be that much information for them there. So I've noticed that change over the past couple of years, whereas probably when I started, you used to look at Amazon and eBay and think, can't move them. But now it's obviously, if you do create a strategy right, you do become, an expert in that field. Although it sounds weird becoming an expert in green mugs, Google does like that, and they like having a face attached to that as well.
But also part of it, and even if you've got that kind of niche market, is you're helping a business as well really kind of clarify its message as well, because you've got to get those message points across and really understand your audience. All of that helps the sales pipeline for that business, regardless of what you're doing on the SEO side of things.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's to be honest, that's the thing I love about SEO, is how it joins in with different parts of the sales process. So it's all good and well just wanting to write a piece of content that ranks at the top of Google, but we've had it before where sometimes if a client gives us too much control on the actual content that goes on the websites, we know that we could create a really optimized piece of content, but it's not necessarily going to get the brand's key messaging across. So it might be that someone actually might inquire about a product, and there might not necessarily be misinformation out there, but they might focus on other key areas that aren't really that important relating to the product. And that's what I'm really starting to enjoy getting my head around now, is actually how the actual SEO process can fit into the sales process as well. And I love working with other people that are passionate about what they do. So whether it's salespeople, other marketers, it could be email marketers, social media marketers, they're all working towards the same goal, and we're all working collectively to generate as much sales as possible. That's a lot more fun than just me and a team in the office just trying to knock people off the top of Google.
No, absolutely. Now let's go back to that conversation. You said you're a young entrepreneur. You started early, started your own business. I know all about that. I started my first business, Liam, when I was 11 years old.
Wow. What was that then?
I made pads.
I actually iPads then.
I actually, no proper pads made of paper and all of that. No, it was a sustainable business right then. My dad was a director of a paper company. I used to go into the big warehouses where they used to trim oversized paper. There was all these bits of paper left over and card. He taught me how to pad up. I used to take those bits, cut them with a guillotine, pad them up, sell them at school. There you go. Sustainable. Stopped it going in landfill. All of that sort of thing. 11 years of age. Over the years, I've run several of my own businesses, etc. But what were the biggest kind of learning curves for you coming in and starting your own business?
Yeah, well, that's it. Probably the biggest learning curve is obviously being a young business owner. It kind of, for me, it always come from making mistakes, and like some of the biggest mistakes where sometimes I would be like really naive, and I mean, yeah, it is maybe going into certain meetings being really naive. So just thinking that, let's say if I'm meeting another business owner, I'm there to sell them SEO. That's in my head. So I just talk to them about SEO, which is something that I'm really passionate about. And what you soon realize is that not everyone cares about SEO. They care about the results. And when I've spent 8 years doing SEO, that's also really new. So I had to pretty much, although I always had a bit of a business brain, I actually had to turn the SEO into figures and what I could actually do for businesses. And I had to pick that up pretty quickly, because when I actually started the company, a lot of the businesses that were covered to me had actually already bought into me as a person. So that's why they were using our service. But when it actually come to maybe colder pitches where it was against other companies, and I was just talking about what we would do for them as opposed to what's going to come out the other end, it did cause issues, and I think that's one thing that I think if I was giving advice to anyone starting a business in, anything to do with technology or digital, is actually understand how it's going to help them as opposed to what you're going to do for them.
Yeah. And I see that all the time on social media as someone running a social media business. You see too many people spouting about what it is that they do, doing exactly what you do because they're passionate about what they do, but actually they're not thinking enough about the other person on the other end, and that's, when people talk about things like the importance of engagement as much as content, I don't think some people actually really understand that, but it's the same thing. If you walk into those business meetings, if you've done your homework on that business and you know a lot about that business, you know a lot about where they are at financially at the moment, who their kind of customers are, what it is that they're trying to achieve, and then you can put that into tangible terms for them, you're much more likely to succeed. They want to see the passion, of course they do.
Yeah.
But they want to understand that you cared a little bit about them, and that's human nature, isn't it? We all want to look after ourselves first and think about ourselves first. So if somebody courts you for you and shows that they've paid real interest in you, you're much more likely to succeed.
Yeah, that's right. It depends. To be honest, it completely depends on the type of people. What I found is it depends on the type of people that are in the meetings. So let's say if I go into a room with a marketing manager, we can get on really well talking about SEO because that's something they'll have a bit of shared interest with. They're obviously bringing us on board, maybe using some of the marketing budgets, so they want to hear about how good we are at SEO. But if you're speaking to a finance director, they want to know what's it going to cost, what's it going to turn into, how long is it going to take to turn into that, and can you do us a deal?
Yeah, what's the return on investment, and how long is that going to take for that to happen? Absolutely, and absolutely right. So the key there is know the room.
That's it. And as I said, when you're a young business owner and you are just used to speaking to other SEO people, that's what you think everyone's like, and you soon find out that it's not. And you've got to adapt to that pretty quickly.
Yeah. Tell us about Move. When did you first come across Move?
Yeah, so come across Move probably I'd say it was October, November 2020. Obviously spoke to Mark on LinkedIn. Obviously seeing the good stuff that he was doing at that point in time. Like, it's weird thinking about it, but it was only me in a business at the time. And I had some pretty decent clients on board, and it was just me as a sole business owner. I was using quite a lot of freelancers to actually fulfill the work for us, which is completely different to how it is now. But at that time, I felt like I needed, mentorship in some shape. And obviously, as soon as I went into one of the meetings, I literally found it right away. There was probably 8 or 9 other people, business owners that were further ahead than me, who were, willing to give me advice on whatever problems I had on my business. And at that time, it was absolutely perfect for me. And I'd say that obviously now I'm involved with the Move Elite Mastermind. I go to networking. Mark and Andrea actually provide me with business coaching as well, which is one-to-one. So obviously using a vast array of services. A few members of my team attend the Move events as well. So it's played a major part in the actual growth of not just the business, but me professionally as well, where I've got myself around lots of other business owners who have similar ambitions, a lot of people that have faced problems that I've had before. And yeah, I'd probably go as far as saying we wouldn't be anywhere near as far as we are now without Move, to be fair.
Tell us about Move Elite. We've talked a bit before on one of these shows about Move Online, which are the online meetings on a week-by-week basis. But tell us a bit more about Move Elite. What does Move Elite give you that's a little bit different?
Yeah, so Move Elite, it's like a it's like a coaching style environment. So you'll be in a room with 6 or 7 other business owners who all have pretty similar ambitions to yourself. Everyone's looking to grow the team, looking to get into big businesses. And for me, it gives you so much accountability. So you turn up every month. You say, "This is the problem in my business." You find the people around you will help you realize how to solve that problem, and then you come away with you come away with dates on when everything's got to be done. And there have been instances where I haven't, if I went into the following meeting the month after, I didn't exactly get everything done, and you feel a little, obviously you feel a little bit bad about it when everyone else around you is thriving. So it, gives a lot of accountability. The actual, like the retreat days they're called, but they're amazing. So you can actually, you're in the same group as everybody else who's part of Elite, not just in your own group. You meet up with lots of other ambitious business owners, and you're being spoken to by some leading people in the business world who are giving advice on when they were in our shoes, when we were looking, obviously when they were looking to expand into business. So yeah, there's so much I could go on and talk about, but as I said, it's for what you actually pay in comparison to what you get out the end of it. It's nothing. It's nothing. Yeah.
I mean, if you brought people of that kind of professional nature into your business to help you, exactly. It would cost you an absolute fortune, wouldn't it?
It would, and that's the way obviously you've got to look at it. I mean, for example, it's not just obviously the obviously you've got the value of Mark and Andrew in there, but the other people that are in the room. So if someone comes into our group with a marketing problem right away, that's when my brain starts going, start finding loads of ideas, which probably charge someone thousands of pounds for. And it's the same when I've had financial problems, like, within a business where I've had to, maybe I had cash flow issues or something like that. And I've talked about that. And at the time there was an accountant in the room, and it's just like, obviously I've got my own accountant as well, but it's, you're getting so much advice, you're getting dates when to action stuff, and it's the network as well. I've made some met some amazing people in there that have introduced me to their network that's actually turned into business. So it's everything you want as a growing business owner.
No, that's fantastic. What's the ambition for Quirky Digital?
The ambition, you know what? It's such a weird. I mean, to be honest, it was something I was going to talk about when you said biggest mistakes I've made. So yeah. I've always been an incredibly ambitious person. I think I have, but the further you go through the journey, and the more your business grows. If you spoke to me a year ago, I'd be telling you that I'm a really ambitious person. But if I looked at myself a year ago, I'd be thinking, "What's he doing?" And I think that it's very difficult to talk about the trajectory and the business is going. But for me, it is, I keep saying I want to become that leading SEO company in Liverpool. Obviously, if you type in SEO Liverpool on Google, we come up at the top. But in terms of profile, that's where we want to get to. And so if there are any big businesses in Liverpool that are, actually looking for SEO, they don't look anywhere else. And I feel like that's where I want to get the company to. In terms of like revenue, we're at probably with our retainers, we're at 500,000, half a million on a yearly basis with our current retainers. Obviously, for me, the goal is to get that up to 1 million, and it's very hard to put a date on that. But it's something that I'm looking to do, and for me, that is the goal, to obviously create a 7-figure agency and be that go-to SEO company in Liverpool.
Do you think for a lot of business owners, their biggest, especially owners of their own business, the biggest issue is that, in terms of growth, is themselves? That actually they although they, as you say, although they feel ambitious, although they in their head they dream at night, I'm going to do this, they're going to do that, they actually don't believe that they can be at that next level. They don't actually believe that, they don't actually put themselves in the situations to enable that to happen, and therefore it doesn't happen. Would you say that's true?
100%. I mean, and sometimes probably maybe 6 months ago or so, there was times where I was thinking to myself, probably maybe felt a little bit demotivated, and it was like, I knew I wanted to get there, and people were telling me that I could get there. But until I actually sat with people that had been there, I didn't feel like I was actually worthy. But then obviously I've been getting myself around the right type of people that have done similar things in business to what I'm looking to do. A lot of our clients run, multi-million pound businesses that obviously we do the SEO for. Rather than just speaking to them about SEO, I start speaking to them about business. And that really does motivate you, because if you're helping someone with SEO and you're doing a really good job for them, and you ask them about how they grew their business, they're going to tell you, and they like talking to you about it because it also gets me excited about their business. And for me, it is all about getting yourself around the right people. And I feel like I really am there now. And every day I wake up with that goal, and I'm speaking to people who can take me to that next level.
I think that's so important. I do understand, and if people are watching, I do understand why people do it. But it's like, I have clients and they'll be like, well, yeah, I'll do a webinar. Here's a great example. I'll do a webinar on social media, and we'll invite this group of people over here. And you go, you've already spoken to that group of people, right? You've already put yourself in that position time and time again. Basically, one of the reasons you've come to me is because really you've exhausted that. You've exhausted that kind of pool. Yeah, you need to be in another space now. And I've had clients that I've managed to get, out there on national TV or national radio, or whatever, and they're like, "Can I do that?" You go, well, you've got something to say. You're the expert in talking about this particular subject, etc. You feel that you do this better than anybody else. Really, you want to have that bigger audience, but you just won't put yourself out in front of that audience. What makes you think that you're not good enough to have that conversation? And we all do it. I have a music podcast, and as part of that, sometimes I felt, when I first started that, I was like, I'll take the musicians that come to me. That's fine, right? But I constantly try and push myself and go, do you know what? I can speak to the likes of this person or that person. There's no reason why I can't speak to top artists and interview them, because I've proved that I know my music, I know my knowledge, I know I can do this. Yeah, you've got to push yourself up a level and go, who am I talking to now? It's this. My biggest analogy to that is anyone that's ever played sport out there. When I was young and I used to play things like tennis at club level and whatever, at county level, etc. I was put week in, week out with people that were 3 or 4 times better than me. Yeah, because at school or whatever, you'd be playing people that are the same skill set as the same age as you. Possibly a lower ability than you if you're good at something. That doesn't help you progress. That doesn't help you get to the next level. You've got to play with someone that's going to beat you for a while. Yeah,
that's it. It's so true. And to be honest, as I said, I've had such a big focus on that recently. It's definitely helped my confidence, and I think it is so important now that I've realised this, that when people that are at the very beginning of their journey, they ask me for advice, because I know other people are helping me on the other side that a little bit above me. It gives me that extra bit of motivation to actually help people that want to come up to the level that I'm at as well. And I think that it is so important that you get that mix right, that you are mixing with people that are above you, you're mixing with people that are your peers, and you're mixing with people that you're giving time away to people that want help up as well. And I think that it doesn't matter what level you're at. If you do that, then you're not going to get too big for your boots. You're not going to be around demotivated people. You're not going to stay in the same place. You get that mix right, and I think that's how most really successful people, take things to the next level. They constantly change the circles that they're in, and I think that it's massively important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Liam, it's been great talking to you today, meeting you face to face for the first time, although we've talked elsewhere. Wish you luck with the rest of your career and, for the rest of the day as well. If people want to talk SEO with someone that's really passionate about it, then Liam is the man for you. But he will give you figures as well.
So I'll give you figures now. Yeah.
Yeah. So do connect with Liam on any of the platforms he's on. So in terms of LinkedIn, we'll put the connection to Liam straight on after this. In fact, I think he's already got his details in this post anyway. You on Twitter, sir? Because this is going out on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. So to be honest, Twitter's a mix of both my personal opinions and my business opinions, but you know, I mix them up anyway. So if anyone wants to follow me, it's at LQ_97. But to be honest, LinkedIn, if you want to talk business, is probably the best place to get me.
There you go. Thanks so much for your time today. This has been another Move TV. We'll be back soon with yet another Move TV and a different person for you to all meet. Until next time, bye for now.